If you're trading your time just for money, stop just for a moment. You need to hear this. You've worked hard. You've studied harder, maybe even harder than most people you know. But the result's still disappointing. Why? Because school teaches you everything, except how to handle money. Nobody tells you that the way you think about money, the way you use it, will decide whether you struggle forever or rise to financial freedom. Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just a book. It's a wake-up call. It's your mindset shift. It's your the key to a new way of living today. I will walk you through 20 powerful lessons that could change your relationship with money for life. Lesson 1. Financial education is more important than academic degrees. The story of a former NASA engineer and his financial wake-up call. Michael Roberts was a skilled engineer who worked at NASA for over 12 years. He held a Master D degree in aerospace engineering and earned more than $120,000 a year. To most people, Michael seemed like the perfect example of success, highly educated, prestigious job, and a stable income. But when his wife was suddenly diagnosed with a serious illness and medical expenses began to pile up, everything started to fall apart. Michael realized he had no emergency fund. He had never invested, didn't know how to protect his assets, and had no idea how to manage spending wisely. Every dollar he made went straight into his house, car, and an expensive lifestyle. When he took time off to care for his wife, his income vanished. Within just 8 months, he was forced to sell his house to pay off debt. He later admitted, "I could design a spaceship, but I didn't know how to manage a single dollar." That crisis became a turning point. Michael began reading finance books, taking online courses, and learning how to invest. 3 years later, he had built a profitable stock portfolio and owned a rental apartment. His income wasn't as high as before, but he said, "Now I feel freer than ever because I control my money, not the other way around." Michael's story is living proof that degrees alone want to protect you if you lack financial literacy. Schools can teach you how to be a professional, but not how to survive a real-world financial emergency. Financial education is the foundation that helps you stay afloat in any situation. Knowing how to save, invest, protect your assets, and manage risk is just as essential as your career skills. The lesson is clear. Financial literacy isn't just for entrepreneurs or investors. It's for everyone. And the sooner you start learning, the more power you have to control your financial future. Lesson 2. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. While most people grow up hearing, study hard so you can get a good job, Rich Dad taught Roberts something radically different. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. That simple idea reflects a powerful mindset shift in personal finance. When you work a job, you're trading time and energy for money, near end limit. You only have 24 hours in a day. But when you invest in income-generating assets like real estate, stocks, or a business system, you create passive income. That means money keeps flowing in, even while you're asleep. Rich Dad pointed out that poor and middle-class people often get trapped in what he called a rat race. Work hard, get paid, pay bills, and that work harder, and repeat. Meanwhile, the rich focus on building sustainable income streams so they don't have to depend on a job forever. They learn how to assess risk, manage money wisely, and seize opportunities to multiply their wealth. This lesson forces us to ask a powerful question. What is your money doing when you're not working? If the answer is nothing, then maybe it's time to start learning how to invest, build a side hustle, or grow your own asset, instead of working endlessly just to survive. Lesson 3. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities. This is one of the simplest, yet most revolutionary principles in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Most people believe their home is an asset, but Rich Dad said, no, an asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out. So if the house you live in doesn't generate income, it's technically a liability, not an asset. That difference is critical. Poor and middle-class people often buy things that look like assets. Houses, cars, expensive gadgets. But those things drain money instead of generating it. Meanwhile, the rich focus on buying real assets, like rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, royalties, or businesses. These not only hold value, they also produce regular passive income. For example, if you buy an apartment and rent it out for $1,000 a month, and after expenses you keep $700, that's an asset. But if you finance a luxury car and keep paying for maintenance and insurance, that's a liability. This lesson challenges us to rethink every purchase. Ask yourself, am I buying something that builds my wealth or something that just makes me look wealthy? Lesson 4. The rich buy assets, the poor buy liabilities. Closely connected to the previous lesson. Robert Kiyosaki emphasizes that the rich have strong financial discipline. They focus on accumulating assets first and only spend on liabilities after they build solid cash flow. The poor, on the other hand, tend to do the opposite. As soon as they have money, they buy a new car, the latest phone, or take fancy vacations. Learn things that don't create long-term value. The rich understand one key truth. To become wealthy, your money must work before you spend it. They might live modestly on the surface, but behind the scenes, they're investing in stocks, real estate, or building their own businesses. Every dollar of passive income they earn gets reinvested, creating a powerful compound effect over time. The poor, in contrast, often let emotions drive their spending. They spend to reward themselves, to keep up with friends, or because they feel they deserve a better lifestyle. And even if they can't really afford it. The result? A leave paycheck to paycheck with little or nothing left to invest or save. This lesson reminds us, wealth is not about how much you earn. It's about how you use what you earn. Lesson 5. Master your fear, especially the fear of losing money. Before she became the youngest self-made female billionaire in America, Sarah Blakely was just a door-to-door fax machine salesperson with an average income. She had an idea for a new kind of shop beer for women to wear under dresses. But that's all it was, an idea. She had no business experience, no financial background, and no one cheering her on. Sarah had saved about $5,000, her final safety net. She faced a choice: keep her safe job and hold on to that money as a backup plan, or risk it all to turn her idea into a real product. Most people would choose safety, but Sarah chose to face her fear. She invested all her savings into prototypes, trademarks, and marketing. The early days were tough, rejection after rejection, but she kept pushing. Then one day, Oprah Winfrey featured her product on national TV, and overnight, Spanx exploded. Today, Sarah Blakely is a billionaire. She once said, "I did too let fear paralyze me. I let it guide me into action." The lesson here is clear. If Sarah had been too afraid to risk losing $5,000, Spanx would never have existed. Fear of failure, fear of losing money, fear of being laughed at. These are what hold most people back. But the most successful people understand this. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal to prepare better, then move forward. You don't have to risk everything. But never willing to take a risk, you will never break through your own limits. The rich aren't too fearless. They just don't let fear make their decisions. Lesson 6. Never stop learning. One of the biggest differences between successful people and unsuccessful ones is this: the ability to keep learning, no matter what. Rich Dad taught Robert that school may end, but learning should never stop. The wealthy don't just learn from books. They learn from mistakes, real-life experiences, the market, and from people who are smarter or more skilled than them. Traditional education often tricks us into believing that once we graduate, we grow. But the truth is, the world changes fast, and if you stop learning, you fall behind. This is especially true in finance. If you were not constantly updating your knowledge about investing, taxes, or financial technology, the market will swallow you whole. The rich invest heavily in learning. They read books daily, attend seminars, take courses, and even hire coaches or mentors. Meanwhile, the poor often see learning as an expense. But in reality, the cost of not learning is far higher. One uninformed decision can cost you thousands of dollars. If you want financial success, learn how to learn. Dive into topics like real estate, investing, stock markets, digital assets, risk management, or sales skills, and do it proactively. Because in today's world, the one who owns knowledge owns the power. Lesson 7. Think like an entrepreneur, not an employee for life. Rich Dad taught that the rich don't look for jobs, they create them. That's the key difference between the mindset of an employee and the mindset of an owner. Employees focus on finding job security, stable income, and good benefits. But people with an entrepreneur mindset ask themselves, how can I solve a problem for others and get paid for it? Now, this does to mean you have to start a company tomorrow, but it does mean learning to think like a creator, like someone who builds value. Once you realize you can create systems that generate income without trading your time forever, your view of the world completely shifts. When he was young, Robert Kiyosaki, a rich dad, encouraged him to try small businesses. It wasn't about getting rich quick, it was about learning how money flows, how to deal with people, and how to handle risk. Entrepreneurial thinkers know that failure is part of the journey, and each failure teaches real-world lessons no classroom ever could. And today you can launch an online store, start a YouTube channel, or sell digital products. all from your laptop. So the real question is, do you want to work for someone else your whole life, or start learning how to build something of your own? Lesson 8. Passive income is the path to financial freedom. No one can work 24/7, but if you know how to build passive income, money that flows in even while you sleep, then you're getting closer to true financial freedom. Robert Kiyosaki emphasizes that the rich don't to rely on paychecks. Instead, they create income streams that don't to depend on trading time for money. Passive income can come from many sources: rental properties, stock dividend, book royalties, digital products, automated businesses, even a monetized YouTube channel. Each of these can provide steady cash flow and reduce your dependence on a single job. Rich Dad pointed out that the more sources of passive income you have, the more financially secure you become. If one stream dries up, you still have others to keep you going. This is the complete opposite of relying on a paycheck, like where losing your job can throw your entire life into crisis. Financial freedom doesn't mean luxury or private jets. It simply means having enough passive income to cover the life you want, without constantly stressing about money. The key lesson here: don't to just focus on earning a higher salary. Start building income-generating asset, so every dollar you earn today can create even more dollars tomorrow. Lesson 9. Learn how to sell and communicate. Herein a truth most people ignore: you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it, you will still fail. Rich Dad once said, the best product doesn't make the most money, the best salesperson does. Selling isn't just for salespeople. It's a life skill. You have to sell your ideas to your boss, pitch yourself in a job interview, persuade investors, attract customers, even communicate with your future spouse. If you can't express your ideas clearly, listen actively, and persuade others, you will limit your own opportunities. Robert Kiyosaki once admitted that one of his biggest breakthroughs came when he forced himself to learn sales, even though he hated it at first. That one skill helped him build relationships, raise capital, and sell millions of books, even though he is not a professional writer. In today's world, strong communication is a massive advantage. You don't need to talk a lot, you just need to know how to say the right things. And when you combine great communication with financial knowledge, you hold the keys to create almost any opportunity you want. Lesson 10. Work to learn, not just to earn. Most people choose jobs based on salary, but Rich Dad had a different view. In the early stages of your career, choose jobs that help you gain skills, not just a paycheck, because skills stay with you for life. Money does. The Robert Kiyosaki worked in a variety of roles, not for the money but to learn how to run a business, how to market, manage finances, and build teams. Each of those skills later helped him become a successful investor and best-selling author. Someone might earn $100,000 a year, but if their skills are narrow, they stay dependent on their job. On the other hand, a person with diverse skills, sales, finance, leadership, will always have more options. Start a business, invest, freelance, consult, the doors open wider. So instead of asking, how much does this job pay? Start asking, what can I learn here? What new skills will I gain in 6 months or a year? When you work to learn, not just to earn, every job becomes a stepping stone, taking you closer to long-term freedom and success. Lesson 11. Leverage the power of systems and teams. Rich Dad once said, poor people work hard, rich people build systems that make money work for them. This is one of the most fundamental differences in how wealthy people think. They don't want to work forever, they want to create systems that can run independently, powered by skilled teams, automation, and smart processes. A successful business or investment channel doesn't rely on just one person. It built on a system, delegation, automation, and the right people doing the right tasks. When the individuals know they don't have to be great at everything, but they do know how to bring great people together. In contrast, many middle-class individuals try to do it all themselves. They think that working more means saving money, but in reality they limit their ability to grow. Time and energy are limited resources. If you don't build a system, you will always be just another cog in the machine, never truly free. Now this lesson doesn't mean you have to launch a big company tomorrow. What it means is, start thinking in systems. Ask yourself, how can I make this work without relying on me 100%? How can I duplicate results without increasing hours? Systems and people are the keys to building sustainable wealth and keeping it. Lesson 12. Understand tasks. Understand tasks, and learn how to optimize them. The story of Jeff Bezos and Amazonian legal tax strategy. For years, people were shocked that Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world, pays so little in taxes. Some called it unfair. But the truth is, Jeff Bezos and his team weren't breaking the law. They just understood the tax system better than anyone else. Amazon took advantage of legal tax deductions. They invested heavily in research and development to qualify for tax credits, reinvested profits into infrastructure to avoid corporate income taxes, and strategically based operations in states with favorable tax laws. They didn't evade taxes. They omit them 100% legally. Jeff Bezos, who deeply understands financial principles, once said, "A dollar saved in taxes is just as valuable as a dollar earned in profit." That's a powerful mindset shift. The rich don't just focus on making money, they also know how to keep it by mastering the rules of the money game. Bezos taught us that tax planning isn't something you think about only during tax season. It is a critical part of your overall financial strategy. Most poor and middle-class people ignore taxes or fear them, but the wealthy invest time to study the system, to take advantage of every legal deduction and credit. Even if you don't own a billion-dollar company, if you are a freelancer, run a small business, or invest on the side, learning about deductions, write-offs, and smart tax planning can help you keep more of your income to reinvest and build wealth faster. Lesson 13. Wealth is a mindset, not just a number. One of the most powerful lessons from Rich Dad is this: wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. There are people who win millions in the lottery or lose it all within a few years. Why? Because they still have a poor mindset. On the flip side, some people go bankrupt but bounce back even stronger because they have the mindset of the rich. A wealthy mindset means seeing opportunities where others see risk, taking responsibility instead of making excuses, being proactive with money, not avoiding it, believing you can create value instead of just hoping someone pays you more. People with a poor mindset say things like, "I can't do all that. I don't have the money. I'm just not lucky like other people." But people with a rich mindset ask, "What do I need to learn to make this happen? How can I raise the capital? Who can help me move forward?" The lesson is clear. If you don't change your mindset, no tool will help you. You can have money, knowledge, and resources, and still fail if you think like a victim. But with the right mindset, even starting from zero, you can rise and succeed. Lesson 14. Don't chase a paycheck, Lord S. Instead, poor dad told Robert, "Study hard, get a good job, earn a high salary." But Rich Dad warned, the paycheck is a trap. It gives you a false sense of security and delays your path to real wealth. When you live off a paycheck, you're fully dependent on your employer. Lose your job, lose your income. You're trading your time for money. And if you want to earn more, you have to work more. That model does to scale. The rich don't focus on salary. They focus on cash flow from assets, a rental property, dividend-paying stocks, an online brand. And these keep generating income even when you are not working. And each stream of income can be reinvested to grow even more. Herein the key. Your salary has limits. Assets don't do. You might get a $500 raise at work, but a smart investment could grow by hundreds of thousands over time. So, if all you do is chase raises without building assets, you're playing the wrong game. Lesson 15. Start investing early. The better compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. But it only works its magic if you give it time. Robert Kiyosaki reminds us, time is your greatest asset when you were young. The longer your money grows, the stronger the effect of compounding. Let's break it down. If you invest $200 a month starting at age 25 and earn an average return of 10% per year, by the time you're 60, you could have nearly $1.2 million. But if you wait just 10 years and start at age 35, you do end up with only around $450,000. That's a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just because you delay. Many people say, "I don't have enough money to invest," but you don't need a fortune to start. Begin with what you can. Even $50, $100, or $200 a month. Put it into index funds, a stock you've researched, or even a course that boosts your income. The point is to start low. And herein the bonus. Starting early also means you can afford to make mistakes. When you're young, you have time to recover, learn, and grow. But if you wait until you boughty, you may not have the time or the energy to take those risks. Bottom line, don't wait until you have a lot of money to start investing. Investing is how you get a lot of money, and the sooner you start, the bigger your future will be. Real life example, Warren Buffett. The start investing at age 11, Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, bought his first stock at just 11 years old. He once admitted with a hint of regret, "I wish I had started even earlier." From those small investments as a newspaper boy, Buffett kept reinvesting his profits, letting his money work for him over more than 70 years. And herein, what's truly remarkable, 99% of Buffett's massive net worth, over $100 billion, was accumulated after the age of 50 thanks to compound interest and time. He didn't get rich from one lucky investment overnight. He got rich by starting early, staying consistent, and letting time do the heavy lifting. Buffett famously called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Lesson 16. Don't work for money, make money work for you. One of the most famous quotes from Rich Dad, Poor Dad is, "The poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them." Most people trade their time for a paycheck, but the wealthy understand that time is limited while money can grow. They focus on building assets and systems that generate passive income through investing, business ownership, or intellectual property. The real shift happens when you stop asking, how can I make more money? And start asking, how can this money make more money for me? That's the difference between someone who always has to work and someone who ultimately achieves freedom. Lesson 17. Master one skill and multiply it. Rich Dad taught that you don't need to be good at everything, but you must be excellent at something. Mastery creates value, and value opens doors. Once you've mastered your first skill, whether it's sales, investing, writing, or code, you don't stop there, you keep learning and stacking new skills. The most successful people aren't just experts in one thing. They're builders of a diverse skill set with some knowledge of law, marketing, communication, finance, and more. Start by getting really good at one thing, then later on combine and grow. That's how you create the momentum. Lesson 18. Understand emotions. Don't let them control you. Money is emotional. Fear, greed, jealousy, guilt. Let they influence how people spend, save, invest, or avoid money altogether. Rich Dad said emotions make you blind to opportunities. Many people don't invest out of fear. Others overspend out of status envy. Some stay stuck in bad jobs because of fear of failure or losing comfort. Financial success isn't just about logic, it is also about emotional control. You must learn to observe your emotions, but not let them dictate your financial decisions. The wealthiest people know how to stay calm when others panic and take action when others freeze. Lesson 19. Learn the language of money. If you move to a new country but never learn the language, you will always struggle. The same is true for money. If you don't understand its vocabulary, assets, liabilities, cash flow, ROI, you will always depend on others to manage it. Rich Dad emphasized, financial literacy is not optional, it's on survival. Every financially successful person speaks the language of money fluently. They understand how to read financial statements, evaluate investments, and build portfolios. It is not just for accountants or Wall Street pros. It's for everyone who wants control of their life. Want financial freedom? Learn the language. Lesson 20. Action beats excuses every time. Finally, all the knowledge, books, and advice mean nothing if you don't take action. Most people wait for the right time, the perfect plan, or a big opportunity, but Rich Dad taught you learn best by doing. Take the first step and correct course along the way. Don't wait to understand everything. Start with what you know and grow as you go. The difference between those who dream of wealth and those who achieve it is that one group keeps thinking while the other group takes action. Start small, start now, but start. And that wraps up our journey to 20 powerful lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Principles that can not only change the way you see money, but also transform your financial future if you truly apply them. Remember, wealthy people aren't always born rich, they just think and act differently. Which lesson stood out to you the most? Drop a comment below and let you talk about it. Thanks for watching the video. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. BookSnack is your go-to place for short and enjoyable book summaries. Got a book you go like us to cover? Next, drop the title in the comments below. I will be reading all of them and picking the most requested ones. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.